Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Becoming the Best Version of You, our weekly training. This is the topic of our weekly training tonight is Become the Best Version of You. How do you do that? Why do you want to do that? We're going to look into that tonight. So we're going to go through these slides again, as always. I want to try and stick to a 20 to 25 minute window, so I'm not taking up a lot of your time, but still getting in some quality training every Wednesday to help inspire you to work towards that life of your dreams. So being the best version of you, that means different things to different people. The idea behind being the best version of you, it's one of the first things I learned from my first coach many, many years ago, is that we want to focus each day on being the best version of ourselves that we can be for that day, okay? So some are happy just doing the bare necessities, but I would hope for the people who come to these trainings that they want to go that extra step. They want to really work on becoming the best version of themselves. So no matter what category you fall in, the tips we're going to use are going to help you either way. And we're going to get into those tips now. And the first tip is know and understand your purpose. So over the last two trainings, we've been talking about purpose, how important it is to understand our purpose and then align our dream, purpose, and our goal. I showed that. I should have put the slide in again this week. I showed what that looked like in a slide last week in the training, where you have your purpose, it defines your dream, and then it defines your goals, and they all align. So your purpose and your dream match, and the goals you're working on match that purpose and dream. If there isn't a match, then you begin to get distracted and drift off and do things that don't really further your purpose. So what happens is when you don't have that focus, that purpose that you're working towards, that why, that reason for doing, is that you tend to drift and you get distracted easily, and then all the distractions of the world can come in and move us away and off course. And then what happens is we're living a life by chance. We're letting the world and the events in our life dictate what our life looks like instead of, excuse me, sticking to a purpose and being aligned to that purpose. So one of the things we really recommend in Beautiful Summer Morning is this idea: visualize your future self. One of the exercises we have, and I'll see if I can put a link to it down below when I post the video, is we do a thing called your ideal scene. And what that is to write out from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to bed that night, what your ideal day looks like, using all five senses. So using color and smell and taste and scent and everything else, and really embellishing how that looks to you. And when you have that visualization, now you have an idea of what you're aiming for. What does that future self look like? And what version of that can I be today? What is the best version of that I can be today? We're not asking you to jump to that ideal. We're talking about working one, as I always say, one step at a time. You get there by taking one step at a time. Once you have that purpose and you know where you're going, it's a little easier to let go of the fear that tends to get in the way of people, because without a purpose, we're constantly stepping into the unknown. We don't know where we're going. We're not, and so we can be fearful of our decisions. We can be fearful of our direction. But when we have that alignment, then the fear is easily or more easily contained. It doesn't go away and it's not going to disappear completely. But because you now are focused, then you can take the steps to overcome that which is holding you up. Put a stop to negative talk. Now, and this is part of what you're doing, having a purpose, and you align. Now you're focused on something positive. You're working to achieve a goal that is part of your dream, part of your purpose. So say your dream is to reach 10 million people on the planet with your idea of how to live a most beautiful and extraordinary life. And your first step is to write a book about that, achieving that. And so what your goal is each day, you're focused on doing, let's say 500 words or 1,000 words a day on writing the book, which is the first step in reaching those 10 million people. Okay, so while you're focused like that, it's easier to push away the negative thinking. And again, I stress this because everybody makes this mistake to begin with. It's not about eliminating negative thought. It's about increasing the number of positive thoughts you have so that your positive overwhelms the negative and you reach that tipping point where the negative drops and your positive goes up. Show up and do the work. So when you have a purpose, so in our last video, we talked about what do you need to get up in the morning? What is your reason for getting out of bed? When you have a reason, showing up and doing the work is easier. Because when you wake up, you go, I've got to do that 1 hour meditation, or I've got to get up and make sure that my kids have the best possible start to the day. And this is part of expressing the best ideal of myself. Today, I'm going to be the mother or the father who makes sure all my kids get off to school. They're in good mental and physical health, and they are happy and vibrant, and they're going to show that in all the work they do. So it makes it easier for you to show up and do the work when you are aligned to purpose and to being that best version of yourself. You're going to get up and do the work to achieve that. Here is a biggie. Let go of others' expectations of you. We are so conditioned in our society to play the roles that we are supposed to play. And we get criticized and we get, I don't know what the way, you get criticized for trying to step out or away from that societal role model you've been given. Quite often, our parents try to dictate our path. They think they know what's best for us, but they can't see into our heart. They can't know in our heart what our ideal day would look like. They can't see into their life what would be the best version of you to you. It's not about being the best version of what they think you should be. And I see so many kids, I do a lot of coaching with kids, and I see too often they're trying to fulfill a parent's dream for them. And then they start to struggle. It may go along well at first, but at some point they hit that wall and go, this is not really the best version of who I want to be, right? So take a look at that purpose and double check and make sure that the best version of who you're trying to be is for you, not for somebody else. You're not trying to be the perfect mother because that's what your husband expects of you or what your kids expect of you. You want to be that ideal or that best version of yourself as a mother, to fulfill that role, to bring up healthy and thoughtful and compassionate adults. And this is a contribution you're making not just to yourself or to them, but also to the family around you and to the bigger community and to the world. It all builds up. So really make sure that those things, that purpose and what you're looking to see as the best version of yourself, are truly what you want to see in the world. Develop empowering habits. And I've done, I can't tell you how many articles and how many times I've talked about this. Routines and habits are critical to your success in achieving your purpose, your goals, your dream. All of those things come about because you develop habits that empower you. So we're talking about good habits. We're not talking about habits that disempower. So if you have a habit of going and scrolling through social media at every little thing and you're doing this, the swiping up, which is a mindless thing, and you're watching all kinds of garbage. I know because I have done it occasionally, not very often, but you do that and you're looking at stuff that doesn't even begin to give you the chance to express the best version of yourself. So develop empowering thoughts. And I've done tons of articles. So if you want to see more, go to my blog, beautifulsummermornings.com, and go to the blog section and search through some of the articles I've written. You'll find lots of information. But having a morning routine, how you wake up, having a reason to wake up, saying affirmations, doing a gratitude, doing a meditation, if you can fit that into your schedule. It's like critical that you do those things that empower you, that lift you up, that inspire you, that give you that enthusiastic radiance that shows that you are living the life you wish to live. Give yourself a break. And I do some coaching on somebody who has this particular thing where she's very hard on herself, very critical of herself. And in a way that's self-defeating, because if you get too critical, now you're defeating and you're lessening your progress that you've actually made. You're belittling your progress. You don't need to do that to yourself. As I say time and time again, there are enough people in this world who are going to belittle what you're doing that you don't need to help them, believe me. So give yourself a break. If it didn't go well that day, if you're, I've done this, my best version of myself on a day is that I'm going to practice being really patient. And somewhere during the day, I just really lost my ability to be patient with somebody. Don't then in the evening beat yourself up and say, well, you really screwed that up. You didn't come anywhere close to being the best version of yourself today. Give yourself that break. And remember, I've talked about this before, the what went well today, instead of looking at what you didn't do well. During that day, what did go well with that attempt to be more patient? Well, for the first 5 hours of the day, I was the most patient person you've ever seen. Celebrate the wins. Give back to others. this kind of is almost automatic. If you're living your dream and your purpose, and you're focused on your purpose is giving back to others. So again, let's go back to this being a great parent and making sure that your kids get a good start for the day. That's critical. If they have a lousy start to the day, how's their day going to look? How's that going to affect their friends at school, their classmates, the teachers they have to deal with if they don't? So even the little tasks you're doing, they're almost automatically giving back to others. And that's what having a purpose is. So again, we talked about this purpose of reaching 10 million people with your idea of how to live a vibrant and beautiful life. And you're writing this book. So every day you do those 500 words, you're getting closer to releasing that book, which is going to influence a large number of people to live that life. So even though at that moment you're pursuing your own purpose, you're also helping others. I hope that's clear. So I thought we'd sort of boil this down, what we've been talking about, into action steps. So the first one is to write down what your purpose is by asking yourself what you value. There's a lot involved in finding purpose. So take little steps, ask yourself questions. What are you valuing? What do you love to do? What do you get lost in doing, where time seems to just disappear, evaporate, and you don't realize that time is passing at all? What sort of things? We're working on a course that'll help you get even further with this. But for now, just sort of contemplate what that purpose is and come up with some idea of what that might be and write it down. Okay, then establishing next steps. So if you go, this is my purpose, let's say it's to write a book, and you are going about blah blah, whatever your that is an extension of your greater purpose. So right now the first thing you're going to do is write your book. So what actions can you take right now today? So I'm going to eke out a half an hour a day where I can write 500 words about my topic for my book. Or I am going to spend 2 hours in the evening from 7 to 9 working on writing 1,000 words in my book. These are just examples. So if it's to be a perfect parent and making sure my kids get off to a great start in the morning, maybe it is at night I'm going to make sure that they have lunches or lunch money. I'm going to make sure at night, I'm going to double check that they've done their homework, that they're prepared for the day, they know what clothes is going to wear, and so on. So there isn't a panic in the morning. I'm going to set aside what our meal is going to be for the morning. What is the healthiest meal I can get them to eat? Okay, those are all actions that you can take. And then it's about choosing a habit that you can begin. So again, you go back to that action step. Now you want to make it a habit. How do I make writing that 1,000 words a day a habit? So one of the easiest ways to create a habit is to get out your calendar and start marking an X for every day that you complete the task. And then once you've gone so far, now you don't want to miss a day because you're going to mess up that series of X's. It's how a lot of programs, online programs work. They record the number of days that you've been doing something, and they congratulate you and give you little rewards as you go through and don't miss a day. So that's action 3. Okay, so all of these things are incumbent on one particular thing, and I'm almost religious about this, is that in order to make progress on your inner transformation, and if you're working on a purpose, if you're trying to be the best version of yourself, then you are working on transforming the inner you. You're not working on something outside of you. You're working on the deep thing, all the things that are there that are preventing you from being that example that you want to live. So where we need to start is to have that positive mindset. Because if you don't, that negative mind, you become slave to the negative mind, and it's going to keep chattering at you and pulling you back. It causes you to backslide, to miss your routine that you're doing every day. It's not working, it's not important, I can't see any change, blah, 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 blah. That negative mind will undercut everything you are trying to do. So my thing that I go on and on about, and everybody who comes into my sphere of influence, if you will, the first thing I want to teach them, I want them to understand how to change that negative mind towards or to be more positive. And we do that first way, affirmations, and I teach an affirmation class. It teaches what a positive affirmation is, how to use them to change that mindset from negative to positive. There's mistakes you can make along the way. We talk about them. We talk about what is a good positive affirmation. Because out there in the world, there are a lot of affirmations that do not fit the technical definition of what an affirmation is. And an affirmation is a technology. It has to be very specific in order to work, because we're retraining our mind to think positive, not negative. So it's very important. The next one is how to create that habit of doing affirmations every day. We talk about how to create that. I think there's 5 steps in that. And also then, what is that big? What is the big deal? What happens when you reach that tipping point where your mind is more positive than negative? Okay, all those things are important to you, and this is where I get everybody to start at our affirmations masterclass. So it's $24.97 to register. So just below, here's the link, and I'm going to put it in the show notes below this video, but it's going to beautifulsummermornings.com MC for Masterclass Registration. And if you go there, you will see the information you need. There'll be more information about exactly what the class is about and the place to register to start the course. And I really, really urge you that if you haven't done some deep thinking about how to change that mindset, or that you think you need help in changing that mindset, if you're always thinking in the negative, things aren't going right in your life, you can't find the right partner, you never seem to have enough money, you never seem to be able to make your goals. If you're struggling in that way, this is the course that you need to take. So I urge you to go to look at, read more, and then go and take the course. And that's it, folks, for tonight. So this has been a Beautiful Summer Morning training presentation. We do one every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned, watch for our notification that we're doing a new training, and then you can register on Zoom for the training, and you can come in live or you can watch on the replay. Thank you for your attention, for giving me your attention tonight. I really appreciate that. I wish for you a enthusiastic and radiant day. And as always, dream big, live inspired. Thank you.